I feel the same way, but he said I was insecure. I always ask, how do you feel about your woman having your password to your phone or to your laptop and having full access? That's the first thing I want to know.
Yeah.
Because again, being loved like this means we're orbiting. It means I have access. And I'm not allowing you to access my body if I can't access your shit. I'm not doing it. I have not and I won't. And so that's the first question. And
what are the answers?
Oh, I've had some men be like password to my phone. Like, I just feel like, if you're gonna trust me, then you trust me and you don't need to have access. And in my personal experience, I go red flag womanizer.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Listen, I think this is really bad advice. I think Dr. Cheyenne has some work to do. And I think her insecure attachment is playing a massive role in the way she just kind of disseminated her own personal experience in this situation. Her talking about a man giving over his password was really about her insecurity and her need reassurance. And the problem with insecurity is it's a beast. And the beast always needs to be fed. That's the biggest problem with insecurity. See, the reason her wanting the password to be shared with her, I think from my perspective as a man, I'll be happy to share a password with a partner. But if I'm sharing it because of your insecurity, I've been there, done that. And guess what? The beast never dies because insecurity isn't about me. It isn't even about what I'm even doing. It's solely about you. Insecurity is about the emotions that are associated with a lack of confidence that you feel within yourself because you feel fear that you are inadequate or not good enough. I can't change that. So you looking at my phone and having access all the time, and she eloquently put it in this beautiful way, like, if I can't have access to your phone, then you can't have access to my body, and choked herself. It sounded great, it sounded eloquent, it sounded beautiful, but it's manipulative, and it actually leads to really unhealthy dynamics within the course of a relationship. Now, had I cheated and I'd done this, and done something that was to break her trust, then it would make sense what she's saying. As one of the recovery tools, yes, you give over your password, whatever, she has full access to your stuff. But if the reasoning is because you're insecure from the beginning of the relationship, we've got an issue. That isn't going to. And actually, we'll play the rest of this video, and I'm going to prove it to you. This is really bad advice. Ladies, be very careful for what you're actually hearing as well. All right? I'm gonna drop a little intro and we're gonna get the show going for you. Okay, all right. Don't play with it, don't play with it. You already know.
Little black, you know what time it is. 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 Time it is.
Okay.
You got something going on, you're manipulative, you're sneaky, you got something that you're not transparent about. I am not into honesty, I'm into transparency. I don't want to have to ask you 15 questions to get you to be honest with me. I like transparency. Baby,
Okay, I want to pause it right here. So actually what she just shared with us was saying, for her personally, what she feels is if you wouldn't give over your phone to her, then ding, 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 womanizer. And that should instantly ring alarm bells. Because why is it that you asking for my privacy and my end of things makes me a womanizer and not you insecure? And the reason why you're asking is so that you can have access to something that you don't need to necessarily have access to. It is not a requirement of a relationship to build trust for me to give over my phone. Listen to what she's actually telling you. She's actually saying that that you are the issue and you are the problem. She's actually projecting her issues and her actual want theory and thought process onto you and saying you are the problem. That level of projection is a manipulation because it now puts you as the villain and the bad guy and you haven't done nothing. But guess what? The kind of men that she chooses accept this. And guess what? I was one of those men previously. I was one of those men who said, you know what? My goodness could solve your insecurity. But it won't, because the beast will never die. Let's just a bit more, and then we're going to discuss a bit further.
I was on my way home, and I got an email from my ex-girlfriend, and I forwarded it to you. This is what she said. Okay, Daddy, you hungry? I got dinner cooked. That's me. I don't want to have to ask you anything because I'm not the woman that's and because I'm not going to sneak and go through your phone, and I don't want to. I'm not going to try to learn your password. I need to make sure that I have full access because in my last relationship, I had full access, and I would sit with him in bed and be like, "Hey, let me see your phone real quick."
I want to pause it right here because I think this is really important, right? Now, she says, obviously, like she needs to have this access. She said, I need to have this access because she needs the reassurance. Well, the problem the problem with insecurity is that you will consistently be reassuring that person over and over and over and over again because they actually haven't sat down and done the critical inner work to feel secure within themselves. We talk about this a lot on this channel. We talk about emotional security, the ability to feel confident in your emotional state, the ability to feel safe in your emotional plane, the ability emotionally where you can actually not feel like you can't share your emotions or your feelings, you can't be in a space where you're able to take risks without being negative speaking of yourself. You know, you don't have negative thoughts when it comes to being a part of a group that you're new to, where you're already thinking they don't like me, or you don't have those thought processes, or at least when you do, you nullify those thought processes because you believe that you're worthy and you are good enough. What she's trying to do is prove that she's worthy and good enough through the measure of actually having access to your phone, and it's not going to change. But this part is really important to listen to. Because whilst I also believe what she's saying, as a person, I'm willing to share my password because I am a transparent person or honest person. I like the word honesty because it means having the quality of being able to share truth. And so, you know, I love the aspect of being, you know, able to be give over that password, right? But I'm not giving it if that's your reasoning is because of insecurity. I'm giving it because I trust you and because I know that I have nothing to hide, and I want you to be able to share in this because maybe there's something I need you to answer. Maybe there's someone that is messaging me, and I've always said this. My uncle's always said this to me. You know, he said to me, "Listen, because of the prominence of you as an individual, as a man, as he was, right, being a pastor, being a prophet, people can message him at any time." And sometimes people message nonsense. And the fact that he's opened his, you know, kind of platform open to his partner, she was able to reply if she needed to, but she never did. But it was just because there's an open door policy if needed be. Now, what Dr. Cheyenne is talking about partly is true. There's nice about open door policy, but what is your motivation, right? Right? Because we can say, you know, the means justifies the end, but that isn't always true. Because actually the means can end up destroying the actual end. The means can actually end up destroying your actual end, because if your end has a moral aspect to it, you're going to destroy it. But let's listen a bit more.
And they know, like,
and he would just go. Now sometimes, because I think he knew, like, okay, I think in his mind, knowing my personality, he was like, either she's doing it to flex or control. I'm just being transparent and being very accountable.
Let's pause it right there. Number one, she uses this and says, you know, because of my personality. It's not your personality. See how she's made her bad behavior and insecure behavior a personality? It is not a personality. What you are exhibiting is behaviors that you've learned due to you feeling insecure and unsafe because you've been hurt in the past. You're now transferring it. And you see, when something becomes a long-standing habit, it's like, that's just me. It is just me. But the problem is, it isn't just you. It is the unhealed you that refuses to change because you don't have either the tools or resources to, or you like the power that you get from being in that position and you don't want to shift or change. And guess what? She doesn't have to, because the men that she encounters give over that power because they themselves are not boundary led. They are not assertive enough. They are not true to themselves enough. Now, she might disagree, but when they start holding her accountable by saying, well, I want my boundaries and I'm a person I like my privacy, she's going to have to say, well, that's not the kind of person I want to be with. Guess what? She's going to X those type of men all the time. Now, she can call it that these men are so alpha, etc., etc. But sis, every time you get in those situations, you run away.
Or like, babe, like, how many times you need to look at my phone before you reassure? Right. I'm just speaking real from what I felt a man would think, right? But he would always go right to the game. And sometimes I would joke and I'd be like, nervous? You nervous? And this is even like 2 years in. It would have been rock on my finger. We engaged.
Listen to what she said. That is 2 years in. She's still kind of joking around. Are you nervous but really sure she's doing it because she ain't doing it because she's joking. She's doing it because she wants to reassure herself. Because why is she going for your phone again? It's 2 years in, but she still wants to go through your phone because it doesn't end. It never will. I learned this lesson a very long time ago, and I realized you can't save them. Stop trying to save them. People like this, the men that she chooses are trying to save her. She's admitted this in a Nick Cannon interview, and I've done a video on this already, so go and check it out, right? Underneath the Dr. Bryant videos. You will never save her. You can't save her. Don't try to save her. Because every time you try to save her and don't correct the behavior and don't allow yourself to actually say, this is my boundaries, she will keep pushing it further and further, knowing she can. And in the end, she gonna leave you anyway. right? Because for her, a lot of her transactional behaviors with you are power transactions. And what we don't realize is when people are insecure, they are always searching for security with power.
The wedding is like in 2 months, and he'd be like, oh, he'd be like, you look at it anyways. I know you do.
Right.
But he also had access to mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the
Did he
phone
look
rang,
at your phone?
well, if I'm in the shower, he go, your mama calling.
Okay.
So you looking to see who calls. Or
Yeah.
sometimes I say, baby, text her back and tell her this, this,
Mhm.
and that. I did that for one of two things. One, I wanted him to text mama back.
Yeah.
Right. But two, I wanted him to know I'm reassuring you too.
Yes. Mhm.
And you can text back, you can
Mhm.
respond. You have that access, you have that
Yeah.
authority. You're my
Mhm.
man, you're mine. We're getting married.
I love that.
And
Now, this is quite beautiful, right? In this point where it's like we both have the reciprocation of access to each other's phone. Fine. If that's the reasoning and if that's the motivation is that you guys are transparent and you are open. Yours isn't. Yours is reassurance and insecurity. Therefore, this doesn't become healthy at this point, right? It's not healthy. It sounds good, but it's not healthy.
I'm transparent. And if there's
Mhm.
something you see in there and we need to talk about, I need to shift, I'm willing to shift it. No big deal. But luckily, knock on wood,
Mhm.
with both of my engagements, with full access, I've never ran into anything. I've never seen it. I mean, I've had access to Facebook
Mhm.
pages, social media,
Yeah.
but for me, that is my reassurance.
Mhm.
And I like that
Mhm.
type of access. And so, again, guy, and I've had men follow up like date number 2, and I say, look, I don't want to waste your time. I am a woman who's an access woman, and
Mhm.
I just would never even be intimate with you if
Yeah.
I can't access what's going on, because if there is a disease or if there is something coming from someone, it's in that phone.
Ooh.
It's in that phone. And I'm not playing with my body. I'm not playing with my heart.
Yeah.
And so
Well, love is not about you being able to have access to every single aspect of someone's life, right? See again, her actual reasoning for having access to you is, well, if there's a disease in the phone, that if there's a disease, it's in the phone. Again, it's coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of distrust. It is nothing about, you know what, we're building mutual trust here. It's about, I need to know, so just in case you're doing me dirty, which is a power play, which is all about being secure and you don't feel secure. So nothing he's going to do is going to make you feel secure, because 2 years in, you still were checking his phone. So, and the thing about this also is what we forget is that insecurity escalates. So it won't stay at the phone. It will escalate to other things. And that's where it becomes insufferable. Okay. And it becomes now possessiveness rather than it being a place of just, I want to check the phone to feel reassured. It will lead to possessive behaviors and jealous behaviors, which lead oftentimes to destructive behaviors that self-sabotage, ruin relationships, hurt people, and do not build healthy, trustworthy relationships. And then she ends up leaving you anyway.
So I'm good.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
With your engagements, and you are still a woman who wants to be loved, who
Yeah.
aspires to be in a relationship. What kept you still wanting that? 'Cause I know some people, when they've been engaged and maybe it didn't work out, that happened twice for you. What kept you saying, no, I still want love?
You know what's crazy, Chris? So, and again, I say this with all the compassion for the women who have been left.
Yeah.
I think if I was the one being left, I probably would be on the other side of the emotion. I probably would maybe feel a little disempowered, or kind of like, what am I not doing right? Or why me? But being that I was the one that was pursued, obviously, right? And I pursued back once I wanted them, and asked, right? And chose back. And then I did the leaving, and I called off both engagements or both weddings. As crazy as it sounds, it gives me leverage. It puts me in a
right there is why I said about insecure attachments tend to have this power fixation, right? We're talking about anxious, fearful, avoidant, dismissive, avoidant. They tend to have this fixation of power because you see, when the Bible says perfect love has no fear in it, when the love is not perfected, when it's not secure, when it's insecure, there's going to be fear in it. And fear normally breeds control. We heard her say earlier on that she's about the control, but it leads to control and it leads to manipulation. And it doesn't lead to healthy, again, behaviors. I've learned this the hard way. I know this and where it ends to. It doesn't end in a good way.
A position of power, not a power where I'm taking advantage of, a power of I did the leaving, so I'm still the woman who was desired, pursued. They still wanted the relationship when I left, and I didn't leave because they weren't great men. I left because they weren't my men forever, and I wasn't.
And she knew that. She wasted her time and wasting their time, and they wasting their time and they're wasting their own time. Right. And so it's a place of power because she felt desired and she felt wanted. That's why it was good for her, because when she left, it was like, I'm still pursued. I'm still wanted. I know you still want this. And so it boosts the ego. That's the honest truth of the situation. But look, I think we've reached a really critical point of this video. And to say, like, I also understand that there is a need also to grow and heal as time moves on. But what I would say is you've got to be very careful what advice you actually listen to, Now, of course, as we grow and mature, we get better in our bias taking. This is not me saying a whole critique of Dr. Bryant, throw her away. No, it's more of a case of this particular advice I heard and I saw it going viral was also something that I believe is actually detrimental to any relationship that's healthy. If you want a healthy relationship, sort out your insecurities. Do not use a relationship as a foundation to say, I don't have to sort it out. The relationship should cater to my insecurities. No, whilst I do believe that people should be loving and caring and cover each other, the Bible says love covers a multitude of sins. It does not mean that you should allow the relationship and love to cover you in a space where you are not going to shift nor change and heal your insecurity. She's been on two engagements and called them both off. And why hasn't she changed it? Because they're still giving that bad advice now. So something hasn't changed. And it's because we're unwilling to shift and move. We like where we are. And that's just the honest truth. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Still up, still loaded. We'll see you again very soon.
Little black book, you know what time it is.